All right. Hey there, Dave Hitt, special effects guy. Showing you how a Tinsley transfer works. So Tinsley transfers are really awesome. They go on like a temporary tattoo. You use warm water and a paper towel to kind of just layer it on. No makeup is needed. You don't want to put any makeup on it at all, actually, because it will make it very obvious it's a prosthetic. Its strength is that it is what it is by itself. You can add a little blood after the fact, but I'll show you all that as we go. So we're gonna need rolled up paper towel, just like 2 paper towels rolled up, just kind of a nice little gob of paper towel. We got our Tinsley transfer, a little tiny bit of blood to augment the look after the fact, and then we have a brush to apply it. So that's all we need for this wound right here. So first things first, the packaging, when you take the packaging off, it's packaged as so. Make very sure that you're very careful to remove it from the packaging. The prosthetic itself is incredibly sticky. It will stick to anything that is anything. So just be very careful to keep it completely separate and don't touch it. Don't let it touch anything until you're ready to apply. Okay. So we will take our prosthetic here. So the prosthetic is layered on a piece of plastic. So what you want to do is peel it very carefully. Go ahead and place it down. And as squarely as possible, glue it to the transfer paper. So now that it is glued to the transfer paper, you want to do this as flat as possible with as few wrinkles as possible. So once it's applied, you kind of pat it down to make sure you get every little wrinkle. If it wrinkles a little bit, that's all right, but just make sure you get it completely pressed down to this piece of paper here, the plastic. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we remove this piece of plastic. So now the appliance, go ahead and focus up. The appliance is ready to be applied wherever you want. Now you can trim it when you still have the paper on it. You can trim it to however you like, but for our purposes today, this works just fine. So your next step is going to be put that aside. Take your paper towel. Warm water works best, as warm as a person can tolerate. It doesn't have to be scalding hot by any means, but the warmer the water, the easier the transfer goes. You can use cold water, but it takes longer and you have to be very careful. That's good enough. Okay. So saturate the whole paper towel. You don't want it dripping, so go ahead and squeeze the excess moisture out. But you want it good and damp. Okay, so now, for our purposes today, I might just put this on the back of my hand. So you pick where you want to go. You make sure it's a clean area of skin. No hair if possible. If you do get a little hair in it, just make sure you use castor oil as you remove it. So I'll just apply that right there. Make sure that it gets completely down. Every piece of that sticky material needs to be stuck to your skin. And then, just like a temporary tattoo, you take your compress here and you completely soak the whole thing. Get a good press on all the areas, making sure everything sticks very well. It's pretty good. So now, if you find an edge starting to peel up on its own, kind of here, that's a good way to go. You peel very slowly, very carefully. Maybe even go here, so. Pretty cool. So now you can just tamp it down a little bit. You can use your finger or a brush, just be very careful, because as I said, the stuff is a little bit sticky. Once it's been applied like this, it's not too sticky, but it's still just a little sticky. So just be very careful working with it, very gentle. So I'm just kind of pressing those edges down. And that's just pretty cool by itself right there. So let's go ahead. The last step, essentially, a little water on the brush. And you can see that there's still a little bit of the flesh kind of within the wound. So you just kind of take the water and you press in till it looks all nice and pretty. And you see that good depth. And that's it. So now if you want to, I have just a little bit of blood here. So like I said, you can't do any makeup over this because it's going to look weird. You can pretty much any skin tone because this is mostly translucent. So this should work for any skin tone. So I'll just take a little bit of blood here. Just kind of kick it up a notch. I'm just using regular old stage blood. Spirit blood works just fine. Homemade blood works just fine. But yeah, pretty nasty. Pretty cool, pretty quick. Part 1 over.